Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Welcome, everyone, to City Alpha 3, the Nerd Party's podcast all about Star Trek. I'm your host, Philip Gilfus, joined by my co-host, Daniel Prue and Darren Moser. Gentlemen, how does this September Star Trek week find you?
September Star Trek service time? We can add a little more alliteration there. Yeah. No, it's been good. Still enjoying Lower Decks. And I haven't watched too much extra, and it's not Star Trek Day anymore, so I'm not allowed to watch Star Trek.
Just watch Star Trek once a year, and that's it.
Once a soul, yeah.
Star Trek Santa.
That's it for me.
Visits. Yeah. What would you leave out for Star Trek Santa? I'll have to think about that. What about you, Daniel?
Still going along with working my way through season 2 now of Deep Space Nine. I'm watching the episode with how do I even describe it? The ghost lady that Sisko falls in love with after 2 encounters. She's not actually a ghost lady. She's the wife of a terraformer. She's also like a projection of the people.
I don't remember this episode at all.
I don't either.
I'm not surprised. I am absolutely not surprised. It's not a memorable episode.
You sure this isn't just a story that O'Brien and Bashir are telling? Because they're the best storytellers, I hear.
They're barely in it. What is neat, actually, about this episode, and I'm going to look it up now just so you guys can
believe you.
What did I say it was? Terraformer. The terraformer is on a spaceship, a starship. So there's lots of scenes of the Deep Space Nine crew on an actual, like a traditional starship, which you don't.
Were they
see very
using
often.
the Enterprise D set at the time?
No, I don't know what they used, because I was actually curious as well, because it's not a familiar set, but it is, the same type of design. So I don't know if they redressed maybe it's too small to be like the runabout, or it's too big to be the runabout, but I'm not sure what they used. The episode is called Second Sight. Now,
do they have to change uniform since they're on a starship? They're like,
no, they didn't. They didn't change uniforms, but
they have to change. Once you're on a starship, you have to flip your colors.
That's right. That's right.
So as far as me, I've started Star Trek II, the novelization. And so it's interesting. I mean, I only got through the Kobayashi Maru scene, so just at the very beginning, of course. But it's very interesting because it's really setting up Saavik as being half Romulan, half Vulcan. And honestly, she comes off a little more stilted on the page than Kirstie Alley did on the movie. I think so far, this has only been 15 pages of it. I was I kind of like the Kirstie Alley one better than what I'm reading right here. But it's interesting so far, so I haven't, Kirk is a little bit off and all that stuff. So, but it'll be interesting to see what's different, if anything. So I was just about to start the next chapter with Commander Chekhov recording his personal log.
Who wrote the novelization?
It's not in front of me. Not Gene Roddenberry. That's who wrote it.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. And I know this is a bit left field, but maybe this is subconsciously in reaction to Daniel, your rewatch, because I was like, it's this pretty stressful week for us here at Casa de Nun Gilfus, because my wife's about to leave the country next week, and so we have to do everything in the next week. So very stressful time. So I'm like, what always helps is some Star Trek. So I was like, do I just randomly put on some Star Trek? What do I do? So this is what I decided. Let's start a new rewatch. I know I've kind of in the middle of the movies with TOS, but, the movies are kind of an investment. So I'm like, I just want to start a new series. So I decided, what's the most thematically correct with moving to a whole different place? So I've started with Caretaker and Star Trek Voyager. So I'll be...
Yeah, that's interesting, Daniel. I just looked up some screenshots from that episode, and it almost makes me think of the Defiant, but it. Yeah, it's yeah. I was gonna say we're a couple seasons too early for that, so I think they just worked really hard at like the one corner that makes it look like a starship, and just threw it together.
Yeah, it is not a big set or anything like that, but it's just interesting because you don't see that design on Deep Space Nine, and you would think what they normally do is they borrow something from TNG at that point because it's still running. But no, I don't know. They definitely built it, but it's not like super impressive or anything, but it's a different style than we would have seen up to that point. So
I mean, maybe some parts are like runabout parts that are kind of flown out a little more. I don't know. It doesn't look like anything I've seen before, but that's a lot of, money to spend on a set for one episode. I mean, maybe they just thought, hey, let's add Star Trek spaceship-esque stuff, and then we could always use it again later as the time comes. Which again, I don't think
it's
on a Nebula class.
Yes. What's the name of it? The
USS Nebula. I don't know.
I don't know. It's something else.
Oh, the Farragut?
No, it's
the shot I have that I saw. It was like the underside, so it just had the registry number, and the bridge is obviously just him in front of a panel.
Trying to find out. I think it's something. Oh, it's the Prometheus. Yep, it's the Prometheus. So.
Oh, okay.
So what did you think, Philip? Did you watch both parts of Caretaker?
I literally just started it before coming on here, so
okay.
Literally just had the Kim has found out about Paris's backstory, and they've just been asked to report to the bridge because they're entering the Badlands. So just about to get moved to the Delta Quadrant here.
Ah, so you saw Deep Space Nine as well.
Yes, which I think, it's so funny because of, this is the Star Trek thing of doing the ship shot, if I'm allowed to use that phrase, because you're starting to think, where the heck was Paris and, I can't remember the lieutenant's name, coming from? Because they're taking a shuttle to Deep Space Nine. So, what did he report to Bajor? And then, they just had a Federation start. And it's funny because, and I'm sure everyone knows this, but, watching it for rewatching it, that shuttle clearly, as clear as day, this isn't I'll freeze. No, clear as day says 1701-D on it.
Oh, wow.
Does it really? That's funny. Well, maybe it wasn't expected to be seen in HD, so that's.
I don't think it. I mean, it's not like it's. Yeah. If you guys get bored, just fire up. Like I said, it's the first 10 minutes of Caretaker, and I'm really, it's like a first opening shot, and this is okay. But anywho, it gets better from here. So, but what we're going to talk about is not Deep Space Nine or Voyager, though we may make references. We're going to be talking about Star Trek Lower Decks. And we're going to be talking about Episode 6, The Spy Humongous. Because that's the title that makes sense. All right, so, I don't know, before we're getting into the nitty-gritty of it, I just wanted to touch base of what you all think that we have sort of clearly established that the season villain, if you will, is the Pakleds. So, yeah. Daniel, I know you were very skeptical, and maybe we all were, but how do you think this is or is not paying off as, the Pakleds being the season villain?
Yeah, I am still kind of a little nervous about how they're going to handle it. I'll be honest, I think they've done pretty decently so far. They haven't gone into a realm that I was worried that they would because of who they are, because just the tone that Lower Decks is and sets. They haven't gone into the crazy extreme with them. Obviously they're dim-witted and a simple folk, I guess you would say. But as an adversary, certainly no, they don't come across. I don't understand. It feels like this is leading to something still because it's been
there's something pulling the strings. It can't just be the Pakleds.
I don't know what it is, but it's they're in every episode. They're every single episode. There's at least a mention, or they're pushing some element of the plot along. I don't know why they chose to do this, and maybe it'll come out soon. But it's okay so far. And there were a couple. I will say there were a couple of clever little bits in this episode that made me a little less nervous on how they're going to handle it. So we'll see.
And Darren Picard, what do you think of how the Pakleds are doing?
Yes, Janeway. I liked this episode. I felt it hit the tone right. It was a nice balance of a lot of different things. I mean, the Pakleds are even in the intro of this season.
So I'm not crazy. They're changing that scene every single episode.
No, they are
Borgs.
not. They aren't changing it every episode, but they did change it. We talked about this before, but they didn't. They did change it from season 1 to 2. They added the Pakleds in the group Borg
And
Romulan
Klingons.
fight. And Klingons.
I swear it's not the same, but okay. I mean, like I feel like they're adding more every time. Like it used to be just a solid or a what's the word I'm looking for? A no action static shot, but now the Klingon bird of prey zooms in and out, and now I'm like,
We'll have to do a comparison, but
yeah.
But they definitely added the Pakleds this season, and yeah, I feel just like Daniel. I was slightly concerned, like, the Pakleds are funny, but how do you make them funny but also make them an actual villain? I mean, I did come across, there were some clips of Lower Decks, like best of or whatever, on YouTube the other day, and they were showing the intro to season 1, episode 10, the finale of the season, and the other California class ship like warping itself into oblivion. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I kind of forgot about that. Like, it goes from a brand new ship, keep the sticker on, to like violently everybody's dead in about 10 seconds. And it's like, oh, okay. So they have established the Pakleds as a formidable foe. But maybe that's just their running thing. Like, they use, next gen season 1 type Ferengi. They use Pakleds. Like, they're using all of these villains of the week that didn't really pan out in that iteration in Lower Decks.
And we get another one at the end of the episode.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, that's right.
Skin of Evil.
That's right.
Yeah.
Skin of Evil. So,
oh gosh,
yeah,
I think I could try to reform the racist episode, because I think that's beyond anyone's.
No, we don't need to go there. No, we're not going back to that planet. Or I will accept if we're like walking on another station and in the promenade, there's a sculpture in the middle and it's like that fighting arena, but it's actually been reconverted into like a piece of art. Like, that's it. That's all I'll let them do.
Yeah.
We don't have to actually go to the planet, but
I could see Beckett having the little mace glove or whatever.
Oh yeah. That little mace glove is a good explanation. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I felt it hit the balance of what I was looking for. There's a nice mix of things and people and plots, and it was really interesting.
I think, and maybe this is me, because I think when we have, for whatever reason, I don't know why I feel like we've watched the, I forget what even the episode was called, but the Pakled episode of the original TNG one. I feel like for some reason we watched it within the past few years, maybe just randomly. But I think the problem is the acting and possibly the directing, because when you watch the episode, it is really bad. Like, you think about it, but you watch, you're like, no, this is, and I don't think it's just that. Maybe there's too slow in the acting, and it's just like, I think they're making fun of mentally. Yeah.
It's in Lower Decks. They are
a little faster. I think speaking a little faster helps.
And they have some sort of hierarchy, and they have like, a tree of leadership and things like that. They just make silly mistakes, like, I'm a spy and I'm going to say I'm a spy. I'm going to take pictures of things right in front of me. Like, yeah, that part's not clever, but they're still they're trying to keep that edge of danger of like, a large group of Pakleds like beaming into your ship is still a bad thing and dangerous.
See, what I was hoping for, which they didn't do, which is fine, but I was thinking that they were going to do like a little bit of a subversion where this spy was going to get back to the planet like he did, and then just kind of reveal that he was very competent and amazing, and like, he was gone. He was, he was away from the people watching him on the ship for a good amount of time.
But he actually got something.
He actually got some interesting information. He did his job well, and they didn't go that route, which is fine. But I think that would have been a nice way to kind of push them more in like believable direction. But again, this is not their goal. Like they have, the Lower Decks idea is a little bit different than that. But I just thought that'd be a good way to go.
And then Darren, as our resident expert, I have a question. In this period of time, do all starships have a gift shop, or is it just the California class? Because I know y'all, have your gift shops over there.
That's true. I have to pull up the technical manual blueprints. But yeah, no, I felt more of the jokes than not hit in this episode. Like they were pretty funny, and I think again they're trying to set up the very end of the episode where we learn the Paklids are trying to smuggle, a bomb, I guess, to Earth or somewhere. But that was okay. I'm like, okay, now we know that's going to come back around in the plot. Like I was okay with that. That was a nice setup for something going on. And the, my helmet isn't big enough to make that decision joke was pretty funny. And then at the end they're like, oh, we abolish helmets. And then he like captains himself with it because of course and it's like, it's very predictable, but in a funny way.
I almost, and this is, I know, stupid to analyze humor. I almost was waiting for more of a payoff to that joke. My helmet's not big enough, because I guess maybe I misunderstood it. When I thought helmet's not big enough, I think of like the head size, but I guess they're talking about like the flare.
Yeah,
on the helmet.
It's the flare. Because it was like the president, and then like the queen, and then like the empress, and then it's like what's funny because we're like, well, actually, I don't know the Pakled hierarchy, so I don't know what's gonna come out of the door next. Like, do they have something above emperor? Maybe they could.
All right. Well, we could do random shots here, but I suppose we should go in some sort of order. So I don't know. Let's do a little bit of reverse order. So let's go with the C plot, maybe. And that is Kayshawn and the XO Jack.
Ransom.
What's his last name? Ransom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think of them having to babysit the spy for this C storyline, Daniel? We got Kayshawn. He's still here.
Well, you
as
know
promised.
What? Philip, you tweeted Mike McMahon, right? And he said, "Don't worry, he'll be in this episode." And he was. Mm-hmm. We actually had a reason for 2 security people in one episode. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, no, I thought they were good. I thought it was a good. I thought it was a pretty good, unconventional pairing that we wouldn't expect to see or care about. But it was funny, and it was obviously C plot, so we only had a couple scenes, but I liked it. I thought it worked well.
Mm-hmm. And according to the series creator himself, Kayshawn is basically the Worf to our favorite Bajoran's Yar. He's
true.
Kayshawn is just below him, so he's one who will shoot a phaser into the view screen. All right, so and then I guess the B plot is weird because it's actually not maybe that lower decks, but a B plot was again with the bridge crew. We had Captain Freeman on the planet trying to do some Picard diplomacy.
Right.
Darren, what'd you think of her efforts?
Yeah, I think it was, again, it's one of those gags where it could have been too dry and it's like, oh, my head was not big enough for that. And it just keeps going and going. But her reactions and just it was interspersed enough in the episode that I was laughed every time, where it's like, of course, it's still not the right person. And then the Emperor comes in. It's like, oh, nope, still not. And it's funny because they add the little angle where she's obviously trying to get some clout and she really wants this to go well, not just because it'd be good, but because it would reflect well on her ship. And I like that connectivity too. We've seen her do that more and more this season. So it's a thread of her character.
I was going to say,
yeah, sorry, not the ship. Her, you're right.
Her like plot seems to be that she wants to get away from
there's a payoff to this. I mean, I really want her to have to like get promoted or denied or something. I feel like there has to be some payoff with this.
Yeah, because it's so weird because every episode, part of the lesson, at least for her, seems to be, oh, your crew is great. Like the last episode. Was it the last episode where they went to the planet and they had the party? And it was like,
yes.
Oh, like you would have thought she learned like, oh my gosh, like this is my family. This is my crew. Like, but like they keep painting her in this weird, like career obsessed, like I need status obsessed. I need a better ship kind of a thing. And like, so she's always, it seems like that's what she's only focused on this season. So I'm not sure how that's going to pay off. I mean, I assume in maybe the last episode, either she gets promoted and gets like an Excelsior class or something,
An Obrith. Ha ha ha.
or she doesn't get it and then she gets miserable and has to learn to appreciate what she has or whatever they want to do. But it's kind of a weird direction to go in.
Oh, I just thought of we need to have some sort of joke somewhere where one of them gets either transferred temporarily or goes and visits the Defiant, and we talk about how many decks are on the Defiant, because I swear I have no idea. Half of the cross sections I see have 4 decks, and half of them that I see have 8 decks, and it's really hard to tell. But I think they could make a lowest deck joke out of that.
I mean, they could do that on the Enterprise too, right?
Oh, that's true, with them rocketing through the turbo lift.
Well, that or the Ron Perlman in Nemesis.
Oh,
when
yeah.
he gets knocked off
Or the bottomless pit.
The
it's
chasm.
basically a bottomless pit. Yeah.
You know what's not good to put inside your Sovereign class? Bottomless cavern.
Bottomless pit. Yeah.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, and again, the caveat that this is a cartoon and we're laughing and that's all we're gonna get, and that's fine. But it does seem that Captain Freeman, like we've been talking about, is sort of stuck in this reset loop of like not learn. Like she seems to always learn the lesson. To be a good captain, I need to be depending on my crew and listening to them. And then next episode is like, I'm going to do it my way, and because I can get a better ship. And oh wait, I've learned the value of listening to my crew. And so it is. Yeah, it's like slightly annoying, but oh well.
Well, stubbornness seems to be a hallmark of that family. So
the dad seems all right. You know what? I want to see. I want to see the dad. What's that admiral having to do? So, all right. Well, let's get to the whole crew. I wonder if this is. Because these things are written and produced and done, months before we see it or any reaction. But it's funny because it almost seems like it's a reaction to people like us complaining like, oh, do different pairings. Oh, you know what? Put them all together. We have one where we put them all together, and so now we basically get more or less the group action here.
Yeah, they were paired together, and then Boimler kind of peeled off onto his own little side
quest.
Quest.
True. You're right.
But
so before we do take out the trash day, let's do red shirts.
I liked all the red shirts. I felt, and they're like, "You're going to call yourselves that? Yeah, sure, man. Yeah.
It's the 24th century. I feel like that should have been the answer."
And I love I didn't get the joke until I looked it up later. But how do you pronounce these names? Kazinti, the cat-like creature.
Yes, I thought a good TAS reference for you.
Yeah, TAS. But it's funny because he makes a joke about posture, because in TAS they're all hunched over like that, like they don't stand fully upright, and so he makes a joke, which I'm like, again, that's a deep joke. But yeah, it was interesting. I thought it didn't go this way, but towards the middle of the red shirt side plot, I thought it was going to be revealed that they were just using Boimler to learn more about Riker. Because like every time they're talking to Boimler, they're like, tell us exactly what Riker would say in this situation. It's like, okay. Like every time they were talking to him, it was about that. So they didn't end up going in that direction. It was, they were trying to help him out. And, but yeah, it really, I liked it with Boimler though. It really showed like, and it was interesting because I didn't even think about it until this episode, where it's like, oh yeah, he's on the command track. He's done so little from that was like episode 1 and 2 of season 1 Boimler, who was all about the command track and about pads and the captain and stuff. Like, I feel like we haven't seen that Boimler in a long time. But yeah, I liked his motivational speeches. And like when it's all going wrong in the cargo bay and they just walk in and start talking over each other with more and more motivational. And then the crew's like, are you going to do anything? And they're like, we're motivating you other non-command deck people. And no, it was, I really liked the A plot overall. And I don't know if that was just because everybody was doing something. And it wasn't just the Mariner leads the charge. Like, it was nice seeing, like, other people do things. Yeah.
Yeah, I would wonder what a friend of the show, Aaron Harvey's reaction was to the Red Shirts part, because they had that great improv part. I know he does Star Trek improv, where it's just like, give me 3 situations and like temporal anomaly, radiation surge, and do a speech now.
Yeah, always the speech.
Oh, well, what do you think of any Red Shirt comments, Daniel, before we get to take out the trash day?
Nothing other than what you guys have said. I mean, it was pretty clear right from the outset what was going to happen here. Like, it's like, Boimler is going to learn to, like where he's at. And,
be himself.
Be himself, basically. Well, there's a nice, and we'll touch on it, I'm sure, but there's a really nice bit of crossover sort of connection between the lesson Boimler learns and the lesson Tendi learns, and I wish they kind of pushed on that just a little bit more. But the red shirts are silly. They're fine. I don't know. I wonder if we're going to see that guy again, the main red shirt dude.
Yeah.
Just because of the way it was kind of left, and that would be kind of interesting, especially since
it was.
I guess it's super easy to just get the acting captain gig,
which I thought was fun. No, wait, no, it wasn't acting captain.
It was.
It
was acting captain.
He said, I'd like to be considered for the acting captain position or whatever. And
I
I'm like,
misheard it and was thinking of something else.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that what Naomi Wildman was?
No, she was the captain's assistant.
I know it.
That's what I thought it was. Like some connection between that and like Wesley as acting ensign, but that was funny. I liked, again, how he got what he wanted because he asked, but then
Ransom's like, sure, whatever.
But then,
but
then Ransom actually gave him respect. Yeah, which I liked that. So
yeah, that was a very good, something that they kind of struggle with. I think a lot of times where they like just to put that little cherry on the top of like the character development or whatever. Just like say, yeah, like obviously this guy, whatever, he got what he was asking for, but Boimler got the actual thing that they were all coveting.
Our characters win, even if they don't get what they think they want.
It was funny in the preview or teasers for this episode, and not necessarily even for this episode, but just mid-season teaser, and they're just showing a bunch of scenes randomly. When I saw this appearance of Boimler, I thought this was like a future incarnation.
He looks very much older. His hairstyle.
Yeah. I found that a touch of gray adds an aura of distinction.
Well, what about a touch of muscles? I don't know how they did that.
A lot of room in that uniform.
I heard it was kind of a joke on the later seasons of Next Gen, where they started to like pad out the uniforms a little bit. But his was like way padded out. It's
that hairstyle was really cool. It makes me think like, that's actually cool hair. I mean, if one had hair and only one of the three of us do, like that, it's a kind of a cool thing to pull off there.
Not just hair, Philip, but purple hair.
Yeah, I gotta get that command hairstyle. All right. Well, let's get to take out the trash day, which I thought was funny. So, Darren, what was your favorite discarded anomaly?
Oh man, there were so many. Again, just all the little montages, and maybe just the last one where it speaks, projects your voice anywhere in the galaxy, which is really specific and weird. But it was fun. I think again, I liked how this episode used a lot of Trek in jokes. I mean, obviously all of these things, or most of these things, are based off of other episodes, and that's fine. But I felt like they used it in a fun way that's like, this is exactly what the show is trying to be.
Oh, really, Darren? What episode did somebody get swallowed by a giant space slug, Darren? I don't remember that episode.
Well, that's true. I mean,
everyone's been pooped out by this. Come on.
There might be, there maybe wasn't as much direct references, but it just had that feel of like, this is obviously a vehicle to shove a bunch of, like when they walked around the collector's ship, and it's like that's what this show is about, is like shoving as many references to Star Trek as we can in it. But I felt I enjoyed that. I felt it was balanced pretty well.
My favorite, and this was on Twitter, so this is not an original thought from me, and I don't even know if this is intentional, but someone tweeted, I wish I could remember who to give them credit, but that this was their favorite intentional or unintentional cross-universe reference, when Rutherford's like, oh man, look at all these crazy crystals, and then they also show the picture from Loki of that same actor with all the Infinity Stones in like the Lost and Found. So it was sort of like, oh,
that's funny.
I don't know if that's on purpose, but I did think that was very funny. So, what about you, Daniel? What was your favorite discarded anomaly? I'm trying to remember the acronym they used.
It's really interesting to me because, specifically, and this isn't a problem really, but specifically in this episode, but generally when they do these sort of runners where they just kind of weird, crazy stuff happens in Star Trek, so they think that they can just do weird, crazy stuff at any point. It almost feels like more like Hogwartsy to me. It almost feels way more magic-y to me than
I get
Star
what you're
Trek
saying.
Normally is, and that's fine. Whatever. It's like fine. I'm not upset about it or anything like that. But it's just like they don't have to explain it, so because it's going by so quickly that they can just do any crazy stuff that comes into their head. And it's, it's fine. It doesn't bother me, but it's just like it happens so frequently. So there's just like things that happen and you're just like, okay, I guess this is, and they're like, oh, this is a class 7, blah, 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 blah. Now you're going to turn into a cube and it's going to suck into your body. And it's like, what? Okay, cool. And it's just like, it was fine. It was fine. What actually bothered me the most about it was that, Mariner was harshing on Tendy's great positive attitude and didn't learn a lesson about that. She just was mean to her and said, you shouldn't be positive all the time, even if we have to do this kind of menial labor. And then she just got away with it. It just bothered me. I think Tendy is a really sweet character, and I felt bad for her. That's all.
Yeah, one thing and I feel like this is bad to say, but I'll say it anyway, because I enjoy Tawny so much, the actress. But, like, I almost like this episode, because Mariner gets her butt kicked the whole time and doesn't know anything. Like, every other character is the one who's like, oh, that's a class, you have to do this and that. Mariner's just getting her ass kicked the whole episode. And I was kind of like, you know what? I like that for a change, but, sorry. I'm just being mean then.
Like I said, I felt... Yeah, I think in a similar vein, I enjoyed they mixed it up enough that other people were in the spotlight, other people were kind of leading the story, and yeah, it was nice. Mariner was a part of the story, and she interacted with the other characters, but she wasn't the lead of the plot at all.
And she wasn't a chaos agent. It was the chaos agent was their discoveries. So
Chaos Agent was inside us all along.
It is an interesting point, though. Like, not that this happens too crazy frequently in Star Trek, but like there are definitely like items of immeasurable power that, like, who catalogs these? Like, I like how like the senior people just bring them up to the ship and leave them around or whatever it is. They don't seem to care about it.
Kind of reminded me of the first episode where like she's pushing along a cart, like.
All her, what's the word I'm looking for? All her disallowed stuff. Contraband, that's what we're
contraband, It's very, very lower decks.
Yeah, Daniel, and again, I enjoyed this episode, so we're just being whatever. They did repeat the joke. Find a weird thing that does a weird thing, where I think you could have a different joke where you find like, oh, it's their secret diary of, like, it doesn't have to be a thing that turns you crazy. Like, but that was the same joke. Find a thing that turns you into a different form. It could just been, there's some trash and it's like just something else that is just a different thing. I'm on the improving trying to give an example of what other, but just like, oh, this is someone's diary, or this is Charlie X's diary, or this is just maybe just referential things. It doesn't have to actually turn you into a giant spider every time.
Although we talked about this, and I'm pretty sure, Philip, you mentioned it a couple of times in the past. We've now seen, I think, all of the Tendi transformations as of this episode that we're aware of from all the trailers and stuff like that.
That's true.
So I think she's good to go. No more suffering for Tendi.
We hope
she's going to have a great rest of the season.
Oh God, you're doing it.
She's got 4 more episodes, so. I think it'd be funny in a future episode if one of their duties was pad consolidation. So they just have like a mountain of pads that they had to pick up, and their job is to consolidate the information on it into one pad and give it back. But it takes like hours for some reason.
Why can't we just have more memory in the pads? We want that joke.
Yeah, next year the memory's supposed to be twice what it is this year.
You know how government contracting is, guys. No, I don't know. Yeah. No, I enjoyed this episode. As I look back, I don't know necessarily that I necessarily LOL'd at any time. So I just thought this was like a regular episode, in my opinion. It wasn't bad, wasn't good, but that's better than having something to complain about. But I don't know where you all, since we are in the back half of the season, where do you think this
How many more episodes do we have?
4. This is
4
episode
more.
6.
Okay.
Because then we got to start Prodigy next.
Right, October, right?
Yeah.
To me, again, it kind of feels like the season. Nothing's kind of sticking out for me. It's just like we're kind of level at this point, and like again, it's like I'm at like a 75% joke effectiveness rating, where it's like there's enough jokes to get me through, and like I'm fine with it. But I'm also not invested that it's like I get upset if something's crazy or silly or dumb or whatever. So it's like I think they're very consistent. I will give Lower Decks this. They're very consistent where it's like I don't mind watching it and it doesn't bother me and I probably laugh a few times, but nothing is gonna like they've done nothing to kind of wow me or floor me or anything like that. So
What about you, Darren? Where are you with this episode in general, and then with the season so far in general as well?
Yeah, I really like this episode. Like I've said before, I felt it was very a good. Like I would show this episode to someone as like a first episode of Lower Decks. I felt it's a good representation of what the show is, but not having some of the negative parts that have kind of started to grate. Like Mariner always being right or always being, the A plot.
And then Boimler isn't crazy like he is.
No, he's actually competent. It's like, hey, our characters can all be competent. Like that's totally possible. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I enjoyed this one. I'd have to wait until the whole season's done to kind of rewatch them all and give them a rating of. But so far, yeah, I've enjoyed what they've been doing, and I feel like they're shaking it up more often than not in this season, which makes sense. I mean, they don't have to establish these characters as much, and I guess
how many pieces
back? Like I'm on board now. I guess let's just do it.
How many pieces of street corn would you rate this?
Oh, street corn. That's
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
On my pips, pip corn. I need to see a bag of pipcorn. But and again, like the climatic scene, with Tendi and Boimler, like and the replicators and laughing. I mean, it was funny. It was well done overall.
Though I tell you, when I do rewatch this episode, I still am going to feel paranoid that I'm missing references. That every strange anomaly, like there was one that. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a board almost, or like an artifact, like a really big one. And I'm like, is that like a DS9 thing? Should I know what this does? I don't know. But I was like, maybe it's just all random stuff. I don't know.
True.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, guys. Well, any other final thoughts about the Spy Humongous? I see that title, and I feel like it's supposed to be a reference to something. But
it is.
I don't know.
It's a reference to James Bond, of course.
The spy who loved me?
Who loved us.
Oh.
Oh no! I guess you're right. I misunderstood it. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's something else.
I don't know. I mean, it seems very Pakledian. I'm Humongous spy. I see stuff, but whatever.
Right.
We did learn that the Pakleds can survive a vacuum of space.
That was, to me, I mean, whatever. It's a cartoon. I'm only jokingly complaining about this, but that's what like threw me out of the whole thing. Like, and he survived. I'm like, what? I mean,
I'll give credit to Lower Decks for that, because usually they'll go kind of the darker route for those kind of jokes. It kind of made me happier that the Pakled was just
that he didn't die. Yeah,
he was just totally fine and was like oblivious.
They're like, how did he survive?
And it's just like no big deal. Yeah.
Also, to answer at the beginning of our talk about the episode Daniel was watching, I did look it up because I was curious again on those sets for the Nebula class. And it was like a combination of three things. One, they built like a large, corridor-esque of stock Starfleet wall just to be for DS9 that they could use in future episodes. And then they also did the bridge is a redress of the Excelsior Bridge from Undiscovered Country, combining its forward and aft wall. Because that's what I was trying to think. I'm like, what movie might have been out around that time that they could have used?
Weird to think that Undiscovered Country was out, but I'm sure it was. It's just that was so long ago. Wow.
But yeah, and then we later see stuff like that on the bridge of the USS Odyssey. And so, yeah, they just start to build up their stock Federation starship look interiors. But yeah, I need to, I'm sure it wasn't the best episode, but I kind of want to watch it again just for that aspect of it.
It's not a bad episode. It is a forgettable episode, I will say that, but it's not a bad episode.
We both forgot it, so.
Yeah, I know.
The character of the terraformer is actually really kind of charming and annoyingly endearing. But other than that, like, it was interesting to see, like, oh, I don't recognize those sets, and you don't generally get unrecognizable sets in Star Trek.
Oh, that was the other thing. They also use parts from the Runabout, from the back portion of, which is what I had guessed.
The one that they never use, the sets that they never use in Deep Space Nine that they only use for the one episode of TNG sort of thing.
Those sets.
Oh boy. Cool.
What are we getting next week? Do we know? Is there?
No title yet that I've seen.
Well. All right.
I mean, I'm sure they've given the mid-season. We're into the mid-season.
Yeah, the only scene that I remember from like the teaser that we haven't seen is the one where they all get stranded on the asteroid.
Oh, that's right. Which I still say could be made for the teaser, but
that's fine. I would love that. I would love for them to have just put up teasers and none of the scenes are actually in the show. I would love that. I would love that. It's funny. It's like it's a Star Trek cartoon. I mean, how much do you want to? I mean, there's going to be jokes. Right.
These are the jokes, kid.
Yeah, do the joke. All right. Well, until next week, Darren, if folks want to talk to you about what's in your discarded anomaly pile, where can they find you?
I have my ensigns clear that for me. They can find me on drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI, or listen to me here on the Nerd Party Network talking making stuff on Maker's Method or talking about different directors on House Lights.
And Daniel, if folks want to talk to you about the newest items now available in the Cerritos gift store, where can they find you?
They can find me at OneUpDown on Twitter. That's the number one, not the word. As in, there is only one gift shop on the Cerritos. That's the number one gift shop.
All right. Don't go to any competitors. All right. And if folks want to talk to me about coming to my improv show, please come, guys. Come, guys. Anyone want to go? No? No takers? No? Come on. It's free. No? Okay. Well, you can find me anyway on Twitter at NC Public Servant. So until next week, I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on City Alpha 3.